A nuclear-level bombshell just hit the love and hip-hop cosmos, one that has fans in a state of shock. The market is booming, and social media is completely exploding. The reality TV drama was distinguished by years of ups and downs, proposals, and breakups. Jim Jones is said to have stepped right into Brooke Bailey's arms after leaving Chrissy Lampkin. You heard correctly, yes. A bombshell that no one anticipated was revealed by the man who centered his entire reality TV plot around his engagement to Chrissy. The surprising reality now confronts fans who believe Jim and Chrissy were finally settling their tumultuous relationship. Brooke Bailey, who is well known for her fiery nature and her memorable time on Basketball Wives, may be at the center of the end of the Jim and Chrissy era. The storyline abruptly changed when pictures, purported messages, and insider reports emerged, although the rumors had begun subtly. Had Jim been planning his departure all along? Was Chrissy expecting this betrayal? Or was Brooke Bailey the unanticipated spark that caused Jim to end a love that many people thought would never end? This isn't your typical love and hip-hop plot. Decades of preparation have led to this treachery, which is tearing the culture apart. The culture has been rocked by Chrissy Lampkin's departure for Brooke Bailey, which makes sense. In order to understand this shocking moment, we must go back in time and examine the decades of history. This was not a straightforward split, don't get me wrong. It was the end of a plot that reality TV had made into a myth. We'll start with Chrissy and Jim. One of the most enduring stories in the history of hip-hop and reality TV has been their connection. Fans have followed their highs and lows like a soap opera since Chrissy's debut in the early 2000s as the fiery Roar-Die girlfriend of Dipset's own Jim Jones. Chrissy was not. She was not only Jim's spouse but also his backbone, stylist, and anchor. And when Love and Hip Hop debuted in 2011, their love took the stage. Remember how Chrissy changed the course of events by popping the question to Jim? An incident that stunned fans and garnered media attention in the entertainment industry. Many found it to be empowering. It was messy to others, but there was one thing for sure. Jim and Chrissy had just rewritten the boundaries of reality TV romance. Years of stress, however, were beneath the glitz and the proposals. The whole thing was seen by fans. Jim was accused of not being ready to settle down. They fought about marriage all the time, and Chrissy seemed to desire more commitment than he was prepared to give. There were several seasons, spin-offs, and will they or want they Cliffers in their storyline. It expanded beyond a romantic bond. It became a cultural fixation. In recent years, it had become impossible to overlook the fissures. As Chrissy and Jim continued to show up together, rumor had it that their romance had stalled both on and off screen. Chrissy was reportedly fed up with waiting for marriage to truly happen. Jim was unable to totally commit, according to others, and still had a foot in the industry and one foot in the streets. And now for Brooke Bailey. Brooke is well known to Basketball Wives viewers. Bringing her own unique brand of drama to VH1, Brooke was fierce, vocal, and unavoidable. She had a reputation for being self-assured and straightforward, and she didn't hesitate to voice her opinions or argue with co-stars on camera. She established herself off-screen as a shrewd businesswoman and model, who knew how to maintain her name in the spotlight. Rumors started when Brooke Bailey's name was connected to Jim Jones, which was like two reality TV worlds merging in the most unexpected way. Rumors that Brooke and Jim were seen at the same occasions in whispers, amicable exchanges that seemed to go on forever. Initially, supporters dismissed it as a coincidence. Ultimately, they both travel in the same VH1 circles. Both are familiar with the producers. Both have experience playing the reality game. Then there were the purported receipts, pictures of Jim and Brooke apparently having a private meal together, screenshots of late-night direct messages that were making the rounds on gossip blogs, and behind-the-scenes reports that Chrissy herself was upset because she felt caught off guard by how close Jim and Brooke had allegedly gotten. It had an immediate cultural impact. Chrissy and Jim were regarded for many years as one of the original Love and Hip Hop, the blueprint couples. Seeing Jim supposedly leave that legacy and into the arms of another VH1 star wasn't only a messy situation. Fans weren't prepared for the depth of treachery that occurred. Not to mention that this is not the first instance. Throughout their relationship, Chrissy and Jim have encountered outside meddling. Jim has been surrounded by rumors of infidelity and extramarital affairs. Chrissy never wavered from her position, tried to keep their love intact. However, it felt like the biggest deception ever to abandon her for Brooke Bailey in such a public, messy, and live-streamed way with millions watching. The betrayal was more painful because of what Chrissy stood for. She wasn't merely Jim's companion. She was the one who worked with him to build things, gave up her own possibilities to support him, and made sacrifices for him. Fans recall Chrissy arguing with her co-stars and doing everything in her power to protect Jim's name, even though he didn't always stick up for hers. She was the epitome of loyalty, and it appears that loyalty has been broken. Brooke Bailey, meanwhile, has taken advantage of the attention. She is very uncompromising and doesn't back down from a fight. Jim was the one pursuing her, according to some supporters, while others think she knew precisely what she was getting into, noticing in Brooke a burning energy that Chrissy's patience had run its course. And for that reason, this betrayal is so explosive. It's more than just romance. The topic is legacy. Two women who symbolize radically divergent paths are discussed. The loyal ride or die who dedicated decades to Jim and Brooke was Chrissy. The fearless independent reality personality who enjoys making a big impression. The story has now entirely changed, with Jim allegedly picking Brooke. Apparently, the man who didn't appear to be able to totally commit to Chrissy has made the decision to leave her for another person. This is a betrayal. In the age of reality TV, love is not only private but also public. Thus, the culture will not readily forgive or forget. One of the longest-running partnerships in hip-hop has become the largest scandal in the genre's history as a result of Jim's bombshell. When it was revealed that Jim Jones had supposedly parted ways with Chrissy Lampkin for Brooke Bailey, the internet went into overdrive. Following Jim and Chrissy's turbulent relationship for more than 10 years were stunned at what they were witnessing. Not only had he departed, it was the reason he left her. There has always been struggle and reconciliation in Chrissy and Jim's love story. Reality TV feeds off of this kind of poisonous fairy tale. However, insiders claim that this occasion was unique. It wasn't only a brawl. This was no ordinary cooling-off phase. This was the last dot. The couple's close friends and family say the tension had been building for months. Jim's wandering eye was purportedly brought up by Chrissy, who also pointed out his increasing intimacy with Brooke Bailey. Chrissy discovered communications that were far too amicable, according to one insider. And Jim dismissed her when she raised the subject. He allegedly informed her, "It's business." Chrissy didn't buy it when she said she's just a friend. As the argument heated up, it became one of the most violent altercations the couple had ever had. According to a source, Jim, with his trademark coolness, didn't yell back when Chrissy yelled, "I built this with you and you think you can walk away for some basketball wife?" Then the shocking event occurred. Brooke Bailey was reportedly seen with Jim as they left a posh KLA restaurant. Not with anyone else, not informally, just the two of those. They were photographed by paparazzi getting into a black SUV together, and the pictures were posted on blogs within hours. The captions were vicious. "In the passenger seat is Brooke and Chrissy is at home." That was the spark. The social media world went crazy. When Jim was pulled by fans for disrespecting Chrissy, the rumors escalated into yells. The new leading lady was Brooke Bailey, and Jim Jones had moved on. However, this is where the story's first unexpected turn occurs. Screenshots started to circulate on the internet. A DMS between Brooke and Jim that dated back months is seen. "You deserve happiness. Don't let loyalty keep you trapped," Brooke seemed to write in one discussion. "You understand me better than anyone, whether real or fake," Jim replied with a heart emoji. The messages quickly gained popularity and were taken seriously by followers. It was more than merely about Chrissy being left by Jim. In his ear, Brooke seemed to be suggesting that he should let go of the woman who had supported him for decades. It was cruel on Twitter. Really, Brooke is out here urging Jim not to be faithful to Chrissy? That's crazy, no. Chrissy was worthy of marriage, not treachery. The largest clown in hip-hop history is Jim. Brooke was usually untidy. However, she is now officially the villain. Now she is the villain. Chrissy as well. Now she is the villain. Chrissy as well. It was heartbreaking how she responded. She did not go live. Her response was not a clap. Rather, she shared a mysterious Instagram story with a dark screen and the words, "Sometimes silence says more than words ever could." Supporters lavished her with supportive comments, pleading with her to permanently leave Jim. Others expressed their shock at the disrespectful treatment she had received by tagging her with heart-shaped emojis. But according to sources, Chrissy was enraged behind the scenes. Chrissy reportedly instructed Jim not to return after throwing his belongings out of their Miami house, according to a pal who shared the information. Brooke Bailey appeared unconcerned. But another said that Chrissy was thinking of exiting the Love and Hip Hop franchise completely, stating, "They turned my life into a spectacle and now I'm the fool again." She uploaded an opulent image of herself with a "unapologetic, no names, no context," was the caption, but everyone knew exactly who she was referring to. The fact that Jim left Chrissy isn't the only twist here. It's that he acted so carelessly and in such a public manner, and with a member of the VH1 family that Chrissy thought was related. Chrissy saw it as more than simply betrayal. It was embarrassment. To make matters worse, insiders say that producers at WET TV and VH1, two networks that have documented Jim and Chrissy's relationship, are vying for the fallout. Cameras are reportedly already in motion in an attempt to get exclusive footage of Jim's new relationship with Brooke and Chrissy's response. The most agonizing event in Chrissy's life might soon become reality TV's next big thing if this is accurate. A bonanza. There has been a huge cultural backlash. For fans who viewed Chrissy as the epitome of devotion, the woman who stood by her boyfriend no matter what, this betrayal seems personal. For others, it verifies their long-held belief that Jim Jones would never actually commit. How long has this been going on? That is the most important question. Was Jim's failure to marry Chrissy because to Brooke? Was there something else he could have done to keep her on board for more than 10 years? The story has been turned on its head. Chrissy is more than just a lady belittled. On the largest platform possible, she represents what happens when loyalty and treachery collide. Additionally, Jim has gone from being a reality TV veteran to a villain in just one headline. Nevertheless, rumors are already circulating that Chrissy isn't staying. So if you thought the tale ended here, think again. Silent a lot longer. And Jim and Brooke might come to regret every move they make with the receipts she's holding. They took it from fans who believed that the controversy involving Brooke Bailey, Chrissy Lampkin, and Jim Jones couldn't get any worse. They were proven wrong the next week. After Chrissy finally broke her silence in typical Chrissy form, what began as rumors and paparazzi photos became a full-scale cultural earthquake. She wasn't reserved. With a shocking Instagram Live, it all started. It was Chrissy who was on camera. Her voice was piercing, like a dagger slicing through the talk, but her face was calm. She made no specific reference to Brooke or Jim, but her comments were clear. When you create a man from the ground up, from his reputation to his business to his house, and he chooses to leave for someone who just arrived at the finish line, not so much about me but more about him. Fans' comments went crazy. They bombarded the live stream with notes like, "Say his name, Chrissy, and we know who you're talking about." Fire emojis and broken hearts. In a matter of minutes, the Live had over 100,000 viewers, with bloggers documenting every second and Twitter spaces developing to analyze every word. Chrissy, however, wasn't done. With one of the chilliest teasers to yet, she concluded her live stream. You know, receipts are amusing. It's not always necessary to show them. There are times when you simply let individuals to burn themselves with their own lies. The internet went up in flames with that one line. Was Chrissy in possession of evidence that Jim and Brooke were dating? Pictures, screenshots, or something more? Everyone was holding out. Afterward, as though on cue. In the first startling revelation, a gossip website purportedly posted hotel records proving Jim Jones had made a reservation for a lavish room in Los Angeles under a false identity. But Brooke Bailey +1 was mentioned in the booking. It was evident from the actual receipts that Jim and Brooke were more than simply a passing acquaintance. They were traveling, lodging, and living together as though they were already a couple. Twitter went crazy. Jim did not abandon Chrissy. Overnight, he made Brooke a wife. I pray for Jim because Brooke is already being exposed if Chrissy has receipts. Hotel invoices. No, it's no longer speculation. Betrayal is what this is. Brooke Bailey was not keeping quiet, though. "Don't hate me for choosing happiness. Hate yourself for staying unhappy," was the post's response, and it was accompanied by a gorgeous picture of her wearing a silk dress. It was the fuel the fire didn't need. Fans immediately dragged her. Not joy, but ruining the house. Chrissy's reward for giving her life to Jim is this. But Brooke had some writers who defended her as well. Chrissy was given more than 10 years to get a ring. Because Brooke wants better, she is not the bad guy. The industry insiders began to weigh in as the fan battle continued. Yandy Smith published the inscrutable tweet. People who don't learn repeat history. Fans immediately connected it to Chrissy's memories of their memorable altercations on Love and Hip Hop. A Shadroom post featured a comment from Cambella, another Love and Hip Hop veteran. "Don't miss karma. Just that comment raised lots of likes. Safri, on the other hand, just said, messy, messy, messy. The industry wasn't just watching. It was picking sides. And those sides were loud. However, the second startling revelation followed. Allegedly, Jim and Brooke exchanged leaked text conversations that had nothing to do with romance or love. Money was at the center of them. Jim seems to have written in the text, "I'm going to invest in your line. We've gone. Make sure you straight." "Don't worry about Brooke," allegedly responded. "That's why I rock with you. You see me?" The messages completely changed the story. "Chrissy, she'll be fine." Love wasn't the only factor here. The topic was business. Fans conjectured that Jim was investing time, money, and attention into creating Brooke's enterprise in the same manner that Chrissy had created his, rather than merely abandoning Chrissy for Brooke on a romantic basis. Chrissy's fans went into frenzy after learning the information. Jim takes that foundation and gives it to Brooke after she builds him for 15 years. Repulsive. Some believed it to be karma. Chrissy's time was devoted to battling everyone over Jim. She's the one left behind now, and Jim was eerily silent the entire time. Not a single life post or conversations. The supposition was only heightened by his silence. Did he hide? Did he do something wrong? Or was he awaiting the ideal opportunity to share his perspective? The cliffhanger, however, didn't stop there. One late evening, a blog hinted to a third leak, a video. Fans went crazy over their caption, even though they didn't share it. Everything will be different after watching the video of Jim and Brooke. Are you all not prepared? Tonight at 6 p.m. social media was a complete mess in a matter of minutes. Hashtags such as Talbert Chrissy were worthy of better. Globally, the hashtags Darn Brooke Exposed and Our Jim Speaks Next became popular. Supporters tallied the hours. If the film was authentic, industry insiders murmured, it might ruin Jim's legacy forever, and gossip channels planned emergency live streams. Hotel reservations? Images and audio samples can all be rejected since receipts are one thing. Video, however, is truthful, and Jim Jones wouldn't simply be cutting ties with Chrissy Lampkin if that video went viral. He would be burying Brooke, herself, and himself in a scandal that, by the time the purported hotel receipts and leaked texts were online, nobody was able to avoid. There was more to the Jim Jones, Chrissy Lampkin, Brooke Bailey story than just a tangled romantic triangle. It had become a complete cultural crisis. There were so many reactions on social media timelines. Fan arguments flared uncontrollably. Additionally, famous people who had previously remained silent were now taking sides. The hashtags on Twitter told the tale. Chrissy was entitled to better. The hashtags Dr. Jim Done Dirty and Drake Brookie Disorganized were trending at the same time. After more than 10 years of watching Jim and Chrissy, many were not just disappointed but incensed. Another fan responded to a widely shared tweet that said, Jim gave the ring to someone else and Chrissy wasted 15 years waiting for marriage. Brooke isn't the villain. Jim is. Chrissy's turn came. Don't kill Jim if he's content with Brooke. On TikTok, users edited images of Jim and Brooke leaving that restaurant in Los Angeles to contrast with Chrissy's heartfelt proposal from years ago. Between yes and this, the subtitles were harsh. Others added commentary to Chrissy's most recent Instagram live as if she had created him from the ground up, and Brooke just entered the completed piece. After the changes received millions of views in a matter of hours, Chrissy once again became a symbol of pain and loyalty. However, the reactions of the celebrities are what actually exposed this story.